the court ordering that sentence for Sheikh Hasina. And of course, the first statement that she's made after this verdict has got to do with the fact that she did talk about the fact that this was biased and politically motivated. It was a motivated ruling by a rigged tribunal with no democratic mandate. Pranay continues to be with us. Pranay, what would possibly be the road ahead now for Sheikh Hasina and the Awami League? Indrajit, if you could answer that question and what possibly could be the road ahead.
Well, Sneha, it's anybody's guess now. What could be the road ahead for Sheikh Hasina, for Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal, and, and the top leadership of the Awami League? They are settled. Sheikh Hasina, of course, is settled in India right now. What is her legal status is also something of great confusion, because has she got, is she officially, is India
I'll
officially
just come back to you in a moment from now. We are being joined by Shoaib Chaudhary, editor, Blitz Dhaka. Thank you so much for your time. Please tell us about how do you rather view this situation at this point in time. Of course, the big statement from Sheikh Hasina on calling this rigged, politically motivated, that was rather expected. But the way ahead now for the Awami League and for the former Prime Minister.
Thank you very much. This case against the Sheikh Hasina, she doesn't have defense counsel, and even the most of the churches are, I should say, as a journalist, I can say these are vague, lacking substance. But this course was, ICT was pre-designed to deliver what they have done today. And when the verdict was, proceedings were going with the ICT today, this morning, you know that some so-called students, they went to the residence of Bangabandhu at Dhanbandi 32, which they demolished in February this year. And they went with the bulldozers and excavators, what they wanted to turn it into playground. So the bulldozers and excavators, these are definitely supplied to them by the government or the regime. So in one hand, they are sending some people to turn the Bangabandhu's private property into a playground. On the other hand, they are holding these so-called verdict. And also on the streets, just now, Jamaat-e-Islami leaders and activists and members of other Islamist forces, they are distributing sweets. So why they are doing this? Because all of them are against the war of independence of Bangladesh. In my opinion, this is a kind of the Pakistan's war against Bengalis, because they want to take revenge of 1971. And before I conclude, I would like to also mention here that on the 4th December 1971, Pakistani military court also handed death penalty to Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. They even prepared their grave. But then in 12 days, Bangladesh was liberated, and we became an independent state. So this kind of the politically motivated death sentence or whatever, it actually has no value. I think it will give more grounds to Sheikh Hasina in finding more coverage in the international media. And I'm sure that now so-called, I hope the so-called international rights groups, they start speaking on this issue and they raise voice, because everywhere in the world, particularly in the West, death penalty is not appreciated or accepted. So by giving death penalty to Sheikh Hasina, actually Yunus is now welcoming an international condemnation.
Well, absolutely. We'll see how that plays out internationally as well. India hasn't said anything yet, Shoaib Chaudhary, but I'm expecting that it can perhaps, also reject Bangladesh's request to extradite Sheikh Hasina or not. What can or what possibly do you think India would be doing from here on?
You were asking me?
Yes.
Can you please repeat the question?
In your understanding, how would you think India would look at this situation as far as this verdict is concerned, and also factoring in that Sheikh Hasina has been in India for months together now?
I don't know what reactions India will have, but this verdict is taking place just less than a week or 10 days after the Delhi blast, where there is a connections of Jaish-e-Mohammed and even some connections of Bangladeshi jihadis and terrorists. So I think India knows very well that Pakistan is turning Bangladesh into a fertile ground for trans-border terrorism and narco-terrorism, and Pakistani ISI is also trying to turn Bangladesh into a battlefield of proxy war and terrorist activities. So I think India will do what it should do, and India is a very strong country, the oldest and largest democracy in the world, and not only India, as I said now, every international, the whole international community will speak on this matter. And as I said, Yunus is going to welcome international condemnation. Yunus has done this as per prescription of Pakistan and Pakistani ISI, and we Bengalis, 180 million, we are not with Yunus, and the consequences, I can only say consequence of Yunus is now written on the wall, and very soon the world will see what happens to him.
I'm going to leave it at that, and thank you for joining in with your views on that story. This would garner internationally would garner reactions in support of Sheikh Hasina. At the end of the day, this is the former Prime Minister, and death sentences and avoiding death sentences in that sense also has been rejected internationally. So that is the kind of support that perhaps Sheikh Hasina can expect, is what some would believe in at this point in time. Of course, India is watching the situation very closely and is likely to tread very carefully, is what analysts are now indicating. Listen in to the former Home Minister, Minister in the Cabinet of Sheikh Hasina, on how he looks at this verdict. He was in conversation with India Today earlier.
If you could tell us, what is your first reaction to the ICT Tribunal's verdict against you, Mr. Kamal?
You see, we know this verdict will come because this court was formed to finish to my Awami League leadership, the Bangabandhu's achievement to create a independent Bangladesh. This is illegal code. This crime against humanity has not happened here. And what happened, exactly why the police opened fire, why the security forces opened fire, it was clear to us, and it was clear to everybody. To save their life, to save their government, police forces and the property of police and other. So this code, according to people of Bangladesh, this code has no authority to give a verdict like this.
Are you fearing that India may have to now, there will be more pressure exerted on India by Bangladesh to extradite Ms. Sheikh Hasina, to extradite yourself and other Awami League leaders who have taken shelter in India?
Government of India is close neighbor to us, and they are friend of Bangladesh. They fight against this Pakistani people who during liberation war. During liberation war, the Mukti Bahini was backed by India. Everybody knows it, and I think India is always in the right way, and they are always helping. They are always helping Bangladesh in many ways for the right path. And I believe India will take the right decision to solve this problem.
She committed the same crime, that is the crime against humanity, on another count for causing the killings at Ashulia of Sabar, killing of 6 persons. For all these 3 counts, we have decided to inflict her with only one sentence, that is sentence of death.
I'm going to go straight across to Indrajit, who was in conversation with the minister and the former government at this point in time. This is a road which is now, replete in that sense with uncertainty. No one knows what really could be the position that India will also take, given that this is going to be a tightrope walk. Giving in to demands of Bangladesh of extradition wouldn't be, in India's best interest as well. What are you picking up from the government on how they are viewing the situation, given that Sheikh Hasina has been in the country for months together now? Indrajit, a section in Bangladesh also believing that this verdict exactly is going to garner further more international support for Sheikh Hasina.
Well, the government in India most definitely is monitoring the situation very, very closely. Because Bangladesh is in a state of political flux. We are in November right now. Within 2 months' time, December, January, and then in February, the first 2 weeks of February is when there is a deadline for a new election. And during the election, Mohammad Yunus has just addressed the nation just a few days back, where he elaborated that there will also be a referendum that would be conducted in order to change the Bangladesh constitution and change the basic structure of the democratic setup in Bangladesh. So there are, some very, very key proposals on the card. At this point in time, Awami League is a banned outfit in Bangladesh. It cannot enter the political fray. So whatever election is going to take place in February, the Awami League will not be part of it. So the Awami League, which is the top leadership, is in exile right now. Given that Sheikh Hasina herself is in India, they are trying to regroup, they are trying to recalibrate and somehow gather some oxygen to rejuvenate the political party and make a comeback. And the only way that the Awami League leadership thinks they can make a comeback is through the political route. And therefore, there is no other way but to enter the election fray. But that's not happening anytime soon, because the present regime is hell-bent that they will not allow Awami League to take part in the elections. That's precisely, one can say, it's part of that same game, because, the ICT's, the International Crime Tribunal's, verdict has come very, very fast. It has been a fast-tracked court, and it was televised widely today. The charges against Sheikh Hasina was reiterated again and again by the judges. In a sense, it was almost like, playing it out to a gallery. And student leaders inside Dhaka University, they erected giant screens to show this verdict. They erupted in cheer and joy. Even as we speak, there were a lot of student protesters who actually went to Dhanmondi 32, which is the historic residence of Sheikh Mujib Rahman, Sheikh Hasina's father, that has already been vandalized.
We'll continue to, in fact, get you more on that story. Indrajit Kundu getting in those details. Continue to be with us. Our focus continues to be on Bangladesh and that big developing story that we're reporting on at this point in time.